Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Ann DeCindis. I am editor-in-chief of Eyecare Business and editorial operations manager at Connexient. And I am joined today by Dan Chuparkoff. Thank you for joining us, Dan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for the conversation today, and we'll talk about how the future of work is going to change for all of us.
Yes, and Dan is an innovation and artificial intelligence expert, and he led a very insightful keynote at the recent Vision Council Executive Summit in Amelia Island, focused on artificial intelligence and the future of vision care. So I received some awesome insights through this keynote, but I'd love to take this conversation further and how our audience of eye care professionals can implement these tools successfully. So my first question for you is, many organizations and teams feel overwhelmed by the rapid introduction of AI tools. You've led teams through multiple eras of technological change. So what practical framework can optical leaders and eye care professionals really use to decide when AI is truly adding value versus when it risks becoming just another layer of complexity?
Right. I think the most important thing for people and organizations to try to understand is that you can't make that decision until you've already played around with it a little bit.
Okay.
Right. So some people are trying to wait for the green light from the world that says oh, now here's how you do it. But the world doesn't know what your job is and what you're trying to achieve there. And so it's really important at first for organizations to create a little sandbox for people to play in, a little way for people to start doing experiments so that your own employees can start thinking of ways that it can work to solve your problems. I worked at a company about 15 years ago that they gave us a $50 a month budget to buy software at home.
Wow.
We could just get a subscription to whatever we wanted.
Awesome.
So we could play around with tools before they were necessary at our job.
Exactly.
And that gave us some familiarity to it. And by doing it at home, we didn't have to care about customer data or organizational risk or any of that. We could just at the time it wasn't AI, but if I had an AI account for myself, I could just say, hey, AI, what should I have for dinner tonight? And I could see what the answer might look like. So sandbox to play in is the first step for adoption.
Yes. And then I think that alleviates some of the stress of, we need this for these big business decisions. You're already comfortable using it in other ways in your life, so that it's not, as serious when you come down to use it for business items. So.
Exactly.
Awesome. And then I would say, at least eye care professionals, and I think, healthcare professionals overall are navigating AI at multiple levels in ways that perhaps other professions aren't, from potential clinical decision support to practice management and patient communication. So how can eye care professionals really use AI to improve efficiency and the patient experience without losing that professional judgment and trust, which is so important, across healthcare professions?
Yeah. Judgment and trust is absolutely a humongous part of the people doing work problem, right? Yeah. You're there for your judgment. That's your main job. And so as you start bringing AI tools in, it's still your responsibility, right, to make sure you're the one with the judgment.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a later question. I think keep coming back up. But the second thing is you said efficiency in your question, and efficiency isn't always the thing you get from AI. When you start using it, you'll start to see it's not quicker, right? You can open up a Word document and start typing stuff in it super fast, maybe 3 minutes. But if you instead don't type your corporate strategy or your product brief from scratch, if instead you go to AI and say, can I have an outline for a great corporate strategy? And then you take that outline and put it in, you change the parts that you don't like, and then you start filling in the outline with your own thoughts. And then you go back into AI and say, what did I miss? What did I forget? Can you make this better? And then AI changes it again, and then you polish it. That's not faster.
Yeah.
But the outcome is dramatically better.
Exactly.
So one, start figuring out, do you need efficiency, or do you need improved quality of the things you're creating? And AI is probably going to be better at the quality thing and not the speeding up of your work. And so start doing that hands-on and start measuring. Was it actually faster, or just was the outcome just better?
Yeah, I like that idea of having a baseline of, okay, I did this task without any our AI tools versus I completed this task with an AI tool. Where were the pain points, if any? And, just doing a comparison, I think, is beneficial.
Right. Like, you imagine a person sending a sales outreach email, right? They're trying to get a customer.
Okay.
They just write the email and send it, and it's 20 seconds, and maybe they convert, I don't know, 10% of their leads. Meanwhile, you could also take the message and put it into AI and make that the best customer outreach message ever, and then you raise the conversion, I don't know, by 400%, right? And now, but it takes longer, right? So look for things like that, where if you made the quality of this thing better, that translates to real improvement for customer value or money or whatever it is you're trying to do. It won't always be faster. In fact, it won't be faster most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's an important takeaway. As AI becomes so much more on the radar, I think people immediately think, oh, this is going to alleviate all of my time. It's going to be quicker, but that's not really the case. Yeah. So, and just as an overall question, you're known for making these complex ideas such as that really practical for teams that aren't naturally tech focused or, tech enthusiasts. What's the first mindset shift that helps them and their team members adapt to this kind of constant change?
Right. So one of the things in my talk that I do is I do a little exercise where I give people the beginning of a question, and then they all say the next word in the sentence. The beginning of the sentence is once upon a time. Next word, time. Exactly. Right. The probability that time is the next word in that sentence is very high. Like everyone I ask almost always universally says time.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of other answers. They're just low probability answers.
Yeah.
The thing you can learn from that is that's what AI is doing every single time. It's grabbing the next most likely word in any sentence.
Okay.
Because of that, it's like the average answer. It's not the most creative or the most unique. It might not even be the best next word.
Okay.
But it's the most likely found next word in that sentence. And because of that, some people call AI a C student, because it's like the middle of the bell curve. It's the average answer.
Okay.
Sometimes I think that's a little unfair. I think it's really a C+ answer. From the stuff we put on the internet.
It's passing out with,
Right. But sometimes you need an A+ answer. Sometimes you need to be the expert with 25 years of experience in your field. That's probably not the stuff you're going to use AI for.
Okay.
But for all the other things that you need to be at least average at, AI will help you do that. Right? Whether it's project management or sales outreach or whatever the thing is that you're not the expert in, that's where you should be leveraging AI. Yeah. That's the first thing you start with.
So don't go for AI with your MVP type roles, more of just your coasting roles. Right. I really appreciate that. And that reminds me of another analogy that you used at the summit. And I've been using it just with my own team of seeing artificial intelligence as an intern versus a co-pilot. It's an assistant. You're not going to trust AI to go off and fly the plane for you. Can you speak a little bit on that and how users can be cautious of things like that?
Yeah, for sure. So like, I don't like the fact that Microsoft used Copilot to name their AI, because that's creating this picture where you are flying a plane and next to you, there's a Copilot that also can fly the plane. Mm-hmm. You can take a nap or go to the bathroom or whatever, and the Copilot just flies. The Copilot might even be better than flying than you. And so maybe you should let them fly all the time. That's the wrong metaphor, because AI is not a peer sitting next to you doing all the same work. You have a lot of different things in your head. It's more accurate to consider AI an intern. Like, you've hired an intern for the summer, and the first thing you do is give them some instructions, and then they try, and then you look at it and you you realize, oh, I should have given them some better instructions. And so you give them different ones and they try again. And you go around that loop with an intern as many times as you need to. And you're always like looking at the work they did and deciding, is this usable for me or not? Right? Did I exceed this person's abilities?
Okay.
Right? And should I have given them easier things? That's how AI is going to work. That's what your relationship is going to be like. Going to give AI some instructions. It's going to try to do some work. You're going to look at that work and decide if it's useful or not. Right? And you're going to keep going around that loop as many times as you need to. In that process, you discover, if it was an intern, you discover their capability ceiling. Like, what are they never ready to do?
Yep.
Current skills. And AI has that ceiling too. And so you're gonna look at the kinds of things AI can do for you, and you're gonna decide, actually, I'm the responsible person. I'm the manager here. You're always the manager of your AI intern.
Exactly.
Right? And you got to look at everything it does and decide, is this good enough for me to use as my work or not? And a lot of times it's not going to be as good because you have a lot of things in your head that AI doesn't have.
Definitely. And I think that's so important. And it just really helps manage expectations of what we're assuming AI is going to do for us. It's not going to cure everything. It's not going to be able to take on our entire workload, which is for the best.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And if anyone wants to hear more from you and more on your insights, is there anywhere that our audience can go to learn more?
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. I have a pretty unique last name, and so if you can spell my last name, which is Chuparkoff, you can find me. The most active platform for me to talk about stuff like this is LinkedIn. So send me a follow on LinkedIn, and I'll accept the connection. I don't have any reservations with accepting LinkedIn connections. So do that. I'm also on Instagram and stuff, but most of my content's on LinkedIn. So that's the best way. And let me know if I can ever be helpful as you try to navigate this amazing and also crazy AI transformation that's ahead of us in the next couple of years.
It's a whole new world. So we appreciate insights from the professionals. And I really thank you so much for all of your intel, Dan.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.